So at the age of 8, you started playing keyboard. That's a really young age. Where did that interest come in?
Interest came because, as I told you, I had this technology.
Yeah.
As a child, I was very interested in maths and physics. I always used to get 100 on 100 on math and physics in my school. So I liked numbers, I liked frequencies. When I heard music, I somehow got into music theory and stuff at a very young age.
So you said that at the age of 8 you got that interest, but where did that bug, the bug to play keyboard come in?
Okay, actually the bug infested me when I was 6 years old. Because I told you I like music, technology and stuff. I used to get 100 on 100 always in math and physics and all in school. So I always understood music as numbers and frequencies other than art also. I used to admire the connection between the numbers and the sound. It was very attractive to me even at a very young age. So this bug that you told me infected me when I was 6 years old. Or I should say actually 4 years old when my parents got me a small toy. Right. It was like a small pencil box kind of a thing. It had only buttons on it.
Yeah.
And the buttons relate to the white keys on a keyboard. The black keys are not there. So I could tell my parents even at that young age that Amma, there has to be a note in between these two notes. It is not
missing
there in this.
Right.
It is missing because I understood the gap between notes even at a very young age. I didn't know the name. I didn't know Saregamapa. I didn't know CD or Western notations. I didn't know anything at that point. But just by the sound of it, I could tell my parents that there has to be a note in between that. So that.
This was even without hearing anybody play.
Yeah, I only heard popular music I was playing on TV, Raja's music and all those things that were playing on TV. I heard my mom used to sing lullabies for me at a young age. So that was pretty much what I heard as a child. But at one point, they saw me interest in this playing on the. I used to play anything I heard on TV on that button-based thing. I used to shift the music in such a way that I can play it on that small thing. So that inquisitiveness of mine was what made my parents to enroll me into a music class with Mr. Selvaraj Kumar. I used to live in Thoothukudi at that point.
Oh.
So they took me to him, and soon he realized that he couldn't. I can't be taught formally like they teach other kids because my way of understanding music was completely different. The way I looked at music was entirely different from the way other kids of my age were looking at music. Because I understood numbers, I like the sequential patterns that exist in music theories, and I could sense all of that even at a very young age. So he told my parents, okay, I'm not going to teach him the way a teacher he teaches other students. So he used to come home and he used to tell me the names of the notes I was playing. I was playing on. They got me a small Casio SA1 yellow color when I was a child. So he saw that and he told me, okay, do you know the name of this note? Do you know the name of this note? I said I don't know, and he told me that the letters, the alphabets of the Western notation, and then he told me Saregama Pazani, the relative scale. So he told me this is always there and this is relative to every scale you play. And technical, those basics, very basic stuff he told me. And he taught me something called Sarali Varisai, which Carnatic musicians, they learn first. That's their first lesson when they enter a classroom. So he taught me that. He taught me how to play that. And he told me, okay, this is based on a raga. You find the other ragas based on this. And he told me the patterns as to how ragas are formed in Carnatic music. So I came up with the patterns as to, okay, this has to follow, this has to follow. Since I was mathematically inclined, I told him the 72 combinations without naming them. I didn't know the names, of course. I told them the combinations, and he wrote the names. Okay, you're right. This is the combination. So this raga is called this, and he wrote all the 72 names and asked me to memorize it. So that was my way of. That was his way of teaching me.
Right.
And I am actually thankful to that, because that inquisitiveness in me has stayed,
Right.
and that is what drove me to do my music.
Right.
Because I was inquisitive towards technology, and that was how I was able to instantly take the iPad into my arms and start playing on it. Every aspect of what I do with my music, I will attribute to my teacher, Mr. Salvaraj Kumar, because he was the one who nurtured me to be, and he made me understand music the way I understood it,
Right.
rather than forcing some other kind of music theory on me.
Right. So Navneeth, you went on to do engineering and then work at Infosys when you realized this is probably not what you wanted to do, and you quit. But why didn't you actually think of just sticking on to music and pursuing a career in music than go do a formal education? Was it a backup plan, or?
It was not a backup plan. It was my first plan, actually, because I was very academically inclined, I should say, as a child.